One, I over leveraged the properties. Okay, that's a no-no. Now I was disciplined because when I did it, I got cash back, and then I did it to buy another one. But you got to start buying deals. That gets you in, but you got to start doing deals that make sense.
All right, guys, welcome to the Millionaire Enlisted Podcast. Today we have Mike Ealy. He is part of Nassau Investments, capital real estate investing firm. We're going to start off and talking multifamily, dive into a lot of different subjects. So stay tuned. If you can, please go ahead and give us a review on whatever platform you're listening. And yeah, give us some feedback, positive, negative, you name it. We love it. We love to improve. All right, Mike, if you go ahead and get us started, man, how did you start in this real estate investing business?
Oh man, it started years ago. I say around '99, man. What happened here? I did it before what they call they didn't have to coin the phrase yet, house hacking. I just called it getting a roommate.
Yeah.
And,
that's funny.
Yeah, and so I got me a two-family with what happened? I got me a two-family. Didn't know how to paint. Didn't even know how to put a budget together. But I knew that this was beginning me living rent-free, and so I ended up getting. I went and got some people to turn the unit over upstairs, and they were painting it. And they told me to go downstairs because they said I was a terrible painter, right? Then after that, they finished finally turning it. I ended up renting it for $500. I got me a roommate for $200, and then so I was getting a total of $700 in rent. My mortgage payment. I bought this deal on a rent-to-own deal, land contract. So my mortgage was $700. My rent was $700. So I was living rent-free. And I felt like Dave Chappelle, like, I'm rich, bitch.
I love it. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
I'm gonna move over here. Yeah, there we go. There we can see me. All right, there we go.
That's funny, man. But so humble beginnings, starting small. And then what happened from there, man?
Well, then I started picking up more deals. I picked up, I think, another 4 families. No money down deals, the old Carlton Sheets, Robert Allen, no money down in the 90s. And I got those deals. Matter of fact, I didn't even have the down payment money. I could get a loan. And so I talked to the realtor. I was like, yo, man, lend me your commission and I'll pay it right back at closing. And so he was like, you know what, Mike? I'll do that. I want to see you succeed. And literally I timed it. I closed at the first of the month. So at the first of the month, I got all the rent, all the security deposits, which is like $6,000 to $8,000 more. He lent me about $4,000. I paid him right back at closing, and that was the career. And I kept going and kept going. And then I think I only had about 20 units, 25, maybe 30. I don't know, not a lot. And had 2 full service car washes, and then I lost it all, man. I mean, you ever heard of April showers, May flowers? Well, in the car wash business, it literally rained every freaking day. And I was like, maybe I should be in this business.
Oh my God.
I had the houses and the car wash, and I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. And literally, man, I'm serious. This is no joke. I would get in my car, drive from my house all the way to the car wash. It's all sunny and skies are great. And literally, no joke. By the time I get to the car wash, it was just a black cloud over the car wash. Now, this is true stories, man. I can't make this up.
Where is this at?
This is Cincinnati, man.
Okay.
Nasty, natty, baby.
Oh man, so you lost it all, but it wasn't due to recession. It was due to
Now this is the great thing. Fortunately, I lost everything before the Great Recession. I actually lost everything in 9/11. Although I'll try to blame it on 9/11, but That wasn't why I lost everything. But I'll blame it on that, okay? No, man, I was an engineer, right? And so I was like black and white. Like, okay, I looked at tax returns. I said this, I could do the business, and I followed it. But what was some of the main mistakes? I mean, I had Robert Allen, no money down. But one, I over leveraged the properties, okay? That's a no-no. Now, I was disciplined because when I did it, I got cash back, and then I did it to buy another one. But you got to start buying deals. You know, that gets you in, but you got to start doing deals that make sense and not over leverage. You could be over leveraged when you buy it. Here's an example. Let's just do easy numbers. Let's say you bought a deal and you're all in for 60, okay? But it's worth 100. Well, you can be 100% financed for the acquisition and renovation, okay? Mm-hmm. Because you're still undervalued. Yeah. And so that's a good over leverage. But when you it's worth 100 and you leverage that 100 or 95,000, that's not a great deal.
Yeah.
And so you keep doing things like that. And a perfect example of this COVID-19, a mortgage crisis, anything, you're going to fall apart.
I hear you, man. So are you, during this time, are you a buy and hold investor? Was that your strategy?
When I first started, my goal was to just buy and hold because I wanted to build cash flow so I didn't have to worry about my monthly bills, right? And then I said I was going to get into more flipping, where a lot of people they start flipping to get cash and then do cash flow properties. I did it the other way, and really I'm a buy and hold guy, but I will sell tomorrow without a problem. Somebody make me offer, okay, sold. You win. So but I just like cash flow because I don't like worried about nothing. Quite frankly, although I do wholesale deals, I flip. Matter of fact, I flip apartment packages at times. I love it because of the money. I hate the process. It's kind of like the old saying. I remember reading this book. It was like, I hate running, but I love that I ran. Right? You know what I'm saying? Hey,
I love being in shape.
Yeah. I love being in shape. I love getting the checks, but man, the flipping process, you got so many. I mean, you got a lot of moving parts, period. But when I flip, though, the difference between me and flipping is when I buy it, I don't care if it sells or not. I'll keep it. And so, now I don't care. Like where most people flip it, they got to sell it. They earn this money on the line, the reputation on the line. I buy it. And if somebody wants to buy it and I can get a nice markup, I'll do that. And even when I do have an opportunity to wholesale, when it comes to me, I'm calling about 3 people on my team, that I work with. And I'm like, hey, can you sell this? How quick, how fast? And if they say, man, I can sell it tomorrow, I'll do the deal. But if none of them say, no, I don't want it, I can't do that, I won't even mess with it because I pass it on, I pass on responsibility.
Love it. That's a good businessman right there.
Yeah. So I got a question, Michael. So 2001, you lost. When you say everything, you mean everything, completely everything?
Oh yeah, no, man. Look, man, it was crazy, man. And a shameless plug, you can get Broke to Millions, my book. Right? Yeah. We'll talk about it all that. But man, literally, man, I was doing about 300 grand a year. You can't tell right now, but I had ponytail, I had cornrows, rocking the Timberlands, had the Q45 with the peanut butter interior with the Bose speaker, with the 10-disc changer. You could push it on the side. You can't tell me nothing with the 10-disc changer, baby.
Yeah.
But man, I lost it all, brother. Like I got evicted from my own crib.
Wow.
And I was kind of homeless and couch surfing, and then I moved back in with my mom and dad. And literally I was 30 years old, and They painted my room pink and lavender. Well, it was their room, but it was my room, pink and lavender. And they still have my twin bed from when I grew up from 5 years old, and I was sleeping in it with the rudders on there with the sailor bed. Yeah, that was, pretty sexy at 30, baby.
Nice.
I
So
hear it,
what
man.
happened? So you lost everything in 2001. And
Yep.
then when did you decide, or how long did it take for you to, probably you already made that
Actually,
decision that you were going to start, but.
Yeah. It was more like 2000. It started falling apart 2001, and 2003 is when it really started hitting. And then I got back out. I was like, man, you know what? I'm just going to do it all over again. But I tested out my strategy because during that downtime, I read everything. Books on life, religion, leaders, plants. It didn't matter. I read about everything and learned that it's all the same thing. Universal principles. Treat others how you want to be treated, and give. Be of service. And so I did those things, man. So my first thing was be of service and help other people make money. So I immediately I would find a deal, I would manage it, I would be the real estate agent, I'll be the construction manager, the contractor, the whole nine. I did everything. They didn't have to walk in that building. And my first 3 deals, let's say I found one for like 25, 30. It was worth 65. It needed like 7 or 8 grand. I put that in it. And then I ended up getting it rented on a lease contract. And then a year later, they sold it outright. And then there was another deal. He wanted to do a rent to own. No, we flipped that. It was same price, got in for 30, and we ended up selling it for like 70 grand. I made like 5 or 6 grand off the total deal, and they took the lion's share. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I got it. And I started buying right. And then the recession started coming with all this mortgage, and it was kind of perfect thing, perfect storm. One of my partners, Nate Barger, he was filing bankruptcy at the time, and he called me. We were doing deals earlier back in early 2000, but we separated. And he called me like, man, I need your help. I don't know how to get out of this. And so I helped him get out of bankruptcy. In the midst of that, he knew some people were investors. I was getting deals. I was dealing with banks. I was dealing with wholesalers, and they were calling me all the time with these deals, and I was getting portfolios, mortgage notes, non-performing notes. And I had cash, he had cash, and that's when I got stable. Like, I actually got stabilized and made money during the recession.
Wow. That's amazing, man. I mean, the fact that you can, that comeback story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before from anyone. We've had like, I don't know, the biggest guy I think we had so far is Vinny Chopper, but I mean, his story is from zero to, but you were up, down, up. That's amazing, bro. It's amazing.
Yeah, man. No, it's all doable, man. Like I tell people in my class, man, you're literally one big deal away. And it's just changing your perspective, your thought process, and don't put so many limits on where you could go, man. I don't want to get all preachy here, but God has a bigger plan for you, man. And so we have these little goals we set, right? Because that's what we've seen. We only do what we know. And so I was fortunate to be exposed to people that were doing big deals, man. And I was like, I was like, wait a minute. You ain't working. I was doing 13, 14-hour days, and I'm looking at some of my buddies and these other big developers. They busy, but they ain't looking busy like me. Like I'm wore out. They happy and wore out.
Yeah.
And traveling, they do it first
they're
class.
loving it.
Yeah, they do it private jets. They eating good. I'll never forget. We was at Applebee's, and they spent $2,000 at Applebee's. I was like, first of all, who spends $2,000 at Applebee's? Like, it's not like a great steakhouse.
It's not.
It was like, but $2,000? Who does that? Like, that's too much money. And that's why I was like, I'm working way too hard. Because first of all, Well, first of all, even to today, I'm not going to spend $2,000 at Applebee's. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
But my point is, they were doing deals, and it didn't matter. They were living life, and I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? And the only thing was, they were dealing with bigger deals with bigger, more commas, more decimal points, and that's it. And they was like, man, this is how we're gonna do it, and they just did it. And Fire was like, man, I'm not gonna do this anymore. And I'll never forget, like, one time I was like, when I first set my goal to make $1 million, well, my first year, I said I'm gonna do $1 million on a deal or $1 million in a year. Well, my first year, I only made 250,000 or something, but I changed the bar, right? Because before I was only doing like 100 to 150, so I got to 250. Then the next year, I got to 350, 375. And then the year after that, I got really, really close. I made 750. And then the year after that, I made $1 million off of one deal. And now every deal I do, we're netting over $1 million.
Nice. That's awesome, man. So tell us, so you went through all that, and then you started syndicating, multifamily syndication. How did you get into that part?
It's funny, man. All these different terms of syndication. I was like, oh, that's what I do.
Crowdfunding.
Yeah, what else?
GoFundMe.
Yeah,
whatever you call it.
I was like, man, I just need some money, man. Put some money on this.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I didn't know what syndication was until I actually started reading about it, because I called it crowdfunding.
Yeah, right.
It's funny.
No, I get it, man. No, so I start raising money, reaching out to people, and it was more organically for me, man. Like, they saw deals with me, but what really did it for me, to get back, I started teaching a class. When I went broke, I taught this class, and I'll teach a real estate class at these what are they called, like adult ed schools, and it was a course on real estate. And after every course, people would come to me. Now, at the time, this wasn't me. I'm not even allowed to ask people to be a part of the deal. They reached out to me after the class. It's like, hey, I want to be a part. If you ever need some money or something, I got it. I was like, okay, yeah, great. And they were like, I was like, well, how much you got? And I'll never forget. This was when, I'm just coming out of broke. It's like, I got 700,000. Yeah, that's cool.
That's nice.
I could probably use that.
Yeah.
And that was it. And he's still an investor to this day. And I had a couple people 50, 100, and then me and Nate got together. So we ended up having a bucket of 3 to 5 million that we could access between, I don't know, a total of 10 people. And at the time, I was like, man, that's plenty. I don't need nothing else. We keep doing what we're doing. We're fine. And so I was like, man, but if we want to do bigger stuff, man, because we were paying cash. We're doing these deals with cash. It's like, man, we got to leverage it and scale up. And after that, man, that's and what really did it, our main investor probably was sitting on 2-3 million cash. He died about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So that forced me to get out of our comfort zone, because it didn't matter. I need 200,000 tomorrow. Hey, no problem, Mike. Then he, wasn't he? Because we had a relationship.
Yeah.
And when he died, so did our money. I don't know if I was crying about the money or him.
Oh man.
I was at the funeral just. I miss my guy, man. I miss my guy.
Oh man.
Yeah, but the wife wasn't having it, man. And that's what happens. That's another thing, man. The relationship you have with the partner ain't gonna be the same when that person checks out. So
yeah,
I hear you. So where are you at now? How many units are you at now?
Good question, man. I'm not sure. It changes.
Oh.
I'm not trying to be
but
we bounce between that 800 to 1200. The reason I say that because literally we just did, look, for example, we just did a portfolio of 250 units.
Yeah.
And immediately I sold 80 units or 90 units.
I hear you.
And then we're supposed to close on this one package. We got about 128, another 120 units we were selling. That just sold. So, it varies from day to day.
I love it, man, because it seems like you got an awesome model there, which is overlapping deals, which is what you should have, the funnel and,
man, it's the
things
deal
coming
flow,
in.
man.
But you also have a hotel
yes.
company, right? Acquire hotels?
Yeah, we purchase hotels, yes. Now that's a really great business today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was about to ask you, how are they? How's that holding up?
Oh man. No, the hospitality hit with this COVID hit hard, man. The plus side about it, things are very slow, but we already had a plan for a renovation. So we're just taking this opportunity to go in and renovate. And we expect this to last for about 12 months. And then it'll pick up. I don't think we'll be back to where we were for 3 years, and I still don't know if we'll surpass those numbers. But it's challenging. But the great part about it, we bought right. We didn't buy a marginal deal. This was a hotel. To rebuild it, it'll cost you, 18-20 million.
Wow.
Put like this, we're 145 keys. They say now hotels, they say keys, which are rooms, but we're 145 keys, the lobby, the pool, sitting on 3 or 4 acres. And just to give you an idea, that's 145. We're all in. Well, we bought it for $7 million. We're a Marriott Courtyard, a branded hotel. Marriott and Hilton is, just to let you know, are the top brands if you're getting into hotels. Not to say you can't do another brand, but those are your top brands. There's a Holiday Inn right across from us. They all in for 12 or 14 million. They only got 85 rooms, half the rooms.
Wow. Yeah.
So you gotta understand, and they gotta charge what they call an ADR, average daily rate. The average daily rate needs to be like 115, 120 for them to make money. I could drop my rate down to $80 and still make money. Not to say I would do that.
Yeah.
Because, once you drop down low, you're attracting a different class of what we call transient traffic. But we're already at $105 a night, and once we get to our renovations, we'll be over 120 a night. So, it's exciting, exciting, disappointing all at once. But I mean, but there's a lot of hotels that are not going to come back, and guess who's going to be there to buy them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's not just hotels. There's probably other asset classes, right? Yeah.
I mean, you name it, apartments, salons, barbershops, restaurants, businesses. Like, because for the next 12 months, unless they come out, well, even if they have the vaccine, people gotta be comfortable with the treatment. All that ain't, I mean, the closest we'll get to that is probably November, December. Yeah. And until then, it's going to be tough, man.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. So what do you think about, like, maybe if you buy right now, you're overpaying? Yeah,
it's kind of hard to analyze what the true value is. Simply because, I mean, if you base it off your trailing 12, naturally nobody's had income or reduced income, at least in the hotels. The reduced income is down for the next 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah.
So even though it was up here, now it dropped down here, And when it comes back, you don't know where it's going to be at. And apartments, they're going to get hit too. The problem is it's a delayed train wreck, right? You know, the car goes off and then slowly other cars will start falling. It's just apartments are one of the last to get hit. Because what's going to happen is, let's just take the hospitality industry. And I'm not talking about just hotels. Let's talk about bartenders, hair salons, all these people. They're not, first of all, you can't put all those people in the restaurant right away because you got 6 feet distancing, right?
Yeah.
So naturally, the same revenue ain't going to come in. Then on top of it, a lot of people ain't going to be comfortable going in the restaurant, right? So now instead of having 7 waitresses and 6 bartenders, you only need 2 bartenders and 3 waitresses. So now you got to lay off there. So them people, they say they had enough money to last 3 or 4 months. That 4th month come, they still can't find a job. I mean, unemployment, I think we're over 20%. If I remember, over 17 million. I mean,
27.
The Great Depression peaked at 24%. We already surpassed that. Yeah. And so it's just a challenging time. And so I'm saying that to everybody that's listening. Hey, if you know somebody, even if you don't, man, drop them a couple of bucks, do whatever you can, donate them, give them a dinner. I don't care what you do. Buy them dinner for a week, man. But, we got to look out for our own, man. Period.
Yeah. Man, that's a great message there, man. Absolutely. A lot of people are still suffering, and gotta help out where we can.
So Michael, tell us, because you already, I mean, you've been through 2 storms already, right? You went through the one in 2001 where you lost everything, and then you went through the storm of the 2008, the market crash, and you actually came not only a survivor but a winner on that one, right? You took all the advantages. Now, when you in 2008, did you see that coming, or you were kind of placed in the right place with the right people, right connections, who kind of like you saw doing successful, and you're like, okay, let me do what they're doing?
A little bit. Fortunately, I was already doing my thing and starting to work with the right people. So they were getting deals. And I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted some lower price deals, and I wanted some non-performing mortgages. I just knew that's where the market was going. And with that recession and the mortgage crash and the recession, we met. And so I was buying mortgages for pennies to 10 cents on the dollar, man. And my buddies were tied into some hedge funds, and they would get a lump, and they only had so much money. So then I got to buy some off of them. It was a win-win, and they like to flip. The thing about that was, and then because I lost everything in 2001, I knew what it looked like on the other side. I emotionally went through the loss, and at the end, I saw where everybody gained from it. And I was like, whoa, now that's when you buy a deal. Find somebody that's losing it, or find somebody that's 67 years old that don't want it. The kids don't want it anymore. They don't want that business because, grandpa or daddy, they work every day. They have no time for the family, or they just took away from them, and they ain't want no part of that, right? They just want the money and do something else because they felt he worked too hard. Well, a recession, somebody losing it, or that grandfather 65 and older that wants it, that's where you find your deals. And because of my loss, I saw where the gains were. It's kind of like how can you appreciate a win if you never lost before?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying you have to go through that, but when these experiences shape and form your thought process, and through that you'll obtain true discernment. because you through that process, you obtain wisdom, understanding, and then the key thing, you were able to have application, meaning you were able to apply the wisdom you learned, you comprehend it, and then you applied it, and that's true discernment. And so when these opportunities come, I already see it. Like I said, because I recognize it now. And so that's why I don't do marginal deals, man. Because like for San Francisco guys, right? They, it's expensive out there. I mean, I get it. So and like New York, they bet on appreciation. That's how they make them. And I ain't mad at them because, man, you go out to California, and when everything's good, go buy you 3 or 4 houses. Now I ain't saying you could do it now, but buy you 3 or 4 houses at $300 or $400 a piece, right? 4 or 5 years later, you're a multi-millionaire, right? Because they appreciate it so much. The problem is you bought them deals at cost, and naturally there's always a correction in the market. It's not about if it will happen, it's when it will happen. And it always happens. And so with that correction, if you get caught in that cycle, you starting all back over again, and you're stuck in your property, and you can't cash flow it, right? Because some industry went down. It's just this time, it's a global epidemic. And as sad and disappointing as it's a great thing. A lot of great things are happening through this epidemic. I mean, I know this is, besides people dying, but now people are learning to stay at home, work with their kids. Homeschooling may not be so bad. For some, homeschooling they realize is really bad.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, right. And then they learn about a lot of people want really using technology to be online, so they thought they had to fly different places. Now they don't. Churches, right? They're streaming now, which they force their game to think differently. People are like, man, I'm broke. I'm about to lose all my money, and they come up with new. When you're back against the wall, man, you'll come up with some new concepts. You'll figure it out. We're not lying in your face, breathing on you, man. Got that Paul on you, like.
I think you're spot on, man. I think out of this, more and more employers are going to come out and understand that, hey, we don't need a brick and mortar. I don't need to keep people in here and watch them for 8 hours a day. I just need to make sure they get the work done. If they have the computer at home and they can do it, why not? I think there's going to be a huge mindset shift, and I hope there is. I mean, as a millennial, as a 30-year-old, I've been hoping for this for a while.
You millennials. I mean, you were the main. Like, I don't see you guys in the office, man. I really don't.
No.
I don't. I like, man, and a lot of millennials, they don't. Now I'm thinking it's more the younger millennials. Well, are they millennials? Where does millennial stop cut off at? Is that still 19? Are they a teenager still on, or that's a different?
No, that's a different one.
Yeah. Well, just my point is, you got them younger cats don't even want to. Our thing was to drive a car. They don't even want to drive a car. They don't want to buy a house because they're like, man, these companies ain't loyal to us, so they're gonna lay us off. I want to be minimal. I want the minimum. They call them minimalists, if I'm saying it right.
No, you're right. You're right. They don't even want to buy a home. They want to just rent. They want a community, but they don't want to put the work.
And I'm cool with the minimum, right? I don't need all that stuff, man. But I gotta have me one Gucci suit. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have one. I gotta have the Cupid necklace, baby. I gotta shine a little bit.
I love it, man. So how do you reach how do you reach investors, and how do you reach the deals, off market deals? Yeah. What's your strategy?
Man, all relationship driven, man. I now there's multiple ways of doing it, man. Like you can go to LoopNet, but that's a tight market. But as much as I talk bad about LoopNet, I got some of my best deals off of LoopNet. It's just the consistency isn't there, right? But now, when I first started, it was the MLS, LoopNet, and Bandit sign. But now because I'm established, people know who I am. I just get a phone call now. It's all phone call. I'm not even looking for deals.
And people bring it to you, right?
Yeah, and so, but now here's the thing though. I'm tied to the people where they all bring in deals. Like, I got 3 major brokers in Cincinnati. They're young, hungry, right? They cold calling people every day to sell a property, right? Why reinvent the wheel? Let them do that. I just say, hey man, when you get that call, I'm the first and I'm gonna take care of you. You can keep both sides. I don't care. And I'm a realtor too. I'm not a practicing realtor anymore, but I'm like, look, man, I'll give you both sides of the deal. Yeah, if you really bring it, man, I'll give you a point. Because that's one thing, man. People always trying to cut people out of a deal as a broker because they don't really understand what they do. And like, here's the thing. Whether it's a small little $100,000 house and you trying to cut them out a $3,000 commission, or it's $1 million deal and you trying to cut them out of a $30,000 commission. Why would you do that? Doesn't make sense. Because look, even if you feel they do nothing, and maybe they didn't do anything, who cares? They brought you the deal. And on that $100,000 deal, you could make a $30,000, $40,000 profit. Let's say you bought it for 100 and sold it for 140. You made 40 grand, and you tripping about this guy making 3 grand because he brought you a deal. You know, the same with this. I got $1 million apartment deal that I can sell for 1.5, and I'm mad because he's getting 30 grand, and I'm gonna make 500. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, just do the math. I mean, but people don't look at it that perspective, man. I mean, I get it. You know, like, man, I don't want to pay him, but man, look, I promise you, you pay him. Who's the first person he's gonna call?
Yep.
You didn't say nothing. And it's just like tipping them. You know, I tip my guys, man. Seriously.
I love that, man. Yeah, so you built that relationship.
Yeah, no, man, I don't mind. Like seriously, man. I'll never forget one of our guys, man, his kid was getting married and he was coming out of a recession, right? And he's like, man, my kid getting married. I'm like, man, I don't want to ask, but man, I need like 10 grand. I was like, whatever, bro. Here you go. You know, hook me up, man, when you get it.
Nice.
You know? Now, I wasn't balling, so what I did, I co-conspired everybody to chip in.
That's good, man. Hey, you took care of him, though. That's bad.
But now I can. Now I drop some money off, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, German, what you got? I see your head spinning.
No, yeah, I was gonna ask, what markets do you focus on? Because I know, and I've been reading your LinkedIn, and it says you guys do deals all over the United States, but specifically to what markets? So
for apartments right now, my focus is Cincinnati, but we will go outside. Like, our comfort zone, right, is, you know, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. I have no problem going there. But I can go outside. I have another third-party management group that has over $1 billion, maybe $2 billion, probably $3 billion, honestly. They got over 50,000 units under management, and that's all they do. And we've worked together in the past on developments and on some other projects. And so, you know, they can go anywhere, set up any shop anywhere. So I can go anywhere with that. And then with the hotels, same thing. The hotel group is my partner as well, and we can go anywhere, man.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So the hotels, though, I'll go anywhere a lot faster than the apartments. But it just depends on the deal, because when you bring in that third party management, so I'm vertically integrated. I mean, we do our own construction, property management, you know, the whole nine. Whereas when I bring this third party management, my expenses are going to go up. So I got to take an account for that, you know, because you know, they're doing it now. So, you know, I wouldn't pay our people that much. Well, it's not that we wouldn't pay it. We paying people the same amount, but
the expenses are probably gonna be higher.
They got some markups, right? They got some incentive fees. They got some leasing fees that they're gonna charge more, and like their maintenance guys are not gonna be as skilled as mine, right? Whereas my maintenance guys, you know, my maintenance guy to make $20-$25 an hour, he could do everything. Like concrete roof, you know, I put him in the wilderness, he gonna make it back home. I put they $20 an hour guy, he gonna just, you know, bury himself in the sand. You know, so you just got a competent person that's gonna go report when something ain't right. My guy gonna fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nice.
Nice, man. All right, brother. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping this up. I know we want to be mindful of your time as well, but you know, I always like to ask people this because it's not talked about much in the real estate world, but that, you know, that real estate work, family balance. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it's a lot of work, and you know, you need to have a significant other that understands it and that you can communicate about it. How do you balance it? How have you done it throughout these years? What tips do you give people as far as that? You know, also your faith is important with that too, right? So what do you got to say about that?
Well, I didn't do a good job because I got divorced. No, I'm just playing.
Well, it's two of you there.
No, man. Without a doubt, man. It's I think the scripture says it's better to be in a roof than in a house with someone nagging, right? And it's tough, right? You know, I don't want to get into relationships, but the better you have in common, and you set, but even in common, before you get together, you set the goals. You set the goals on where you're trying to go, and they're going to change. But if you set the goals, then you already set the expectations. And without a doubt, find that person you love, man, because I'm telling you, because no matter what, you can have the best relationship in the world, man. You got to love that person unconditional, because they're going to say some crazy stuff to you, man. It's the one closest to you going to say something crazy to you. And all you can say is, you know what? I love you. That's it. Yeah. Sometimes it's about forgive, but without a doubt, having that with the goals and setting expectations, man. And then you got to set a time, some quality time, man, and being able to share. And because, you know, in your relationship, you're going to grow. But you're going to be a different person. You're not the same person as you were when you were 5, and then when you were 12, you were different. And then 19, you know, you were out partying. You probably still are, but anyway, you're 19, right? And you just wanted to party or this. And then when you're 25, you're not considered a young boy anymore, right? You come into this manhood stage, even though you did it earlier. But my point is, you're a completely different person at every stage of the game. And so you got to recognize that. But when you're able to share that and share the goal and where you're going, then it's easy for you to maneuver onto where you want to be. And that's how you create your balance, and that's how you create your peace. And I wish I could say I always did it right, but that would be a lie, you know. Well, it's a challenge, but man, I love my kids. I got so much time. I'm able to coach my kids in their soccer, football, basketball, whatever it is. I'm doing it, man.
That's awesome.
You know, and I had the greatest time, and I'm so appreciative of it, man. Like, real estate has done so many great things for me, man. Like being able to coach my kids, amazing. I had just the greatest time ever. I coach every single one of them. No matter what sport they want to play. And then even when my father was battling cancer, man, on his deathbed, I would get out of my bed at 2 a.m. and go hang out at the hospital, right? Because I didn't have to get up, right? And just be able to not that I did anything amazing, but I was able to give him that glass of water or read him some scriptures or fluff his pillow for him. And even though he's in a lonely place, he was never alone. And real estate did that, you know, life, money, real estate, man. That's just my life, man.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that is, man. And that's great advice for people too, man. If you could go ahead and tell, the listeners, where can they find you? And also, if you want to get advertised about your, you had a recent event, virtual. If you have another one coming, go ahead and say it, man. That was amazing.
So let's see. First of all, you can always easily reach me at NassauInvest.com. That's NASSAU invest with an S .com. And you can see everything, our what we call our big deal webinar, where I teach you and show you how you're just one big deal away from changing your life forever. And but you can find me at the easy places like Facebook, Mike Ealy, right? Then there's LinkedIn, and then there's Instagram, Nassau Mike Ealy. So I'm easy to find, man. And we'll love to help you out. And we got our book out as well, Broke to Millions, where I kind of break down to everybody how you do it. And we also have classes. And if you just sign up for the webinar, Big Deal webinar, we'll show you all about it.
That's awesome, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, and for all the listeners out there, if you show us some love, give us a 5-star review. As I said before, hit that subscribe button, and we'll stay in touch with the next episode. We're out.